Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Gonna be changing oil on this 2007 Honda CRV. If you want to do this, you're gonna need 5 quarts of oil, 5W20, and an oil filter. If you don't know where to get one of those or how to get the right one, Walmart usually has a little computer. You can type in the make and model of your vehicle and should pull up the right one. Alright, I'm here at Walmart. Just wanted to show how this little oil filter computer thing works. So once you turn it on, hit start, and then see the letters come up. So we're looking for a Honda oil filter. So hit H, pulls up all those, then go to Honda. It's a 2007 that I'm working on. So select 2007 CRV, whatever engine model you have, and then you can choose from air filters or oil filters. Hit oil filter. I like to use Mobil 1, so we'll go Mobil 1, and you can see it pulls up Mobil 1 M1-110A. So you can probably take a picture of that if you're like me and forget. I already know where that is, so M1-110A. Come over here. Here's all the Mobil 1 filters. And here you can see all these different M1s. M1, M107. See, here's the right one, M1-110A. It was behind one that said M1-101A, which is pretty close enough to confuse someone, so, but here's the correct one, M1-110A. And then the CRV, or this one takes 5 quarts, or 4.4, so I'll just get a 5 quart thing of 5W20. We'll do this one right here because it's high mileage. 26 bucks for that, and I think these are usually like 10 bucks, so we'll go from there. But first thing you're gonna want to do is get the vehicle up to like operating temperature, so it's nice and warm. And then one thing that's somewhat easier before you go to actually drain the oil is if you pop the hood and take the oil cap off. It can somewhat help the oil drain a little bit faster, but pull that out, set it aside, and then I'm gonna jack the vehicle up. And to remove the drain bolt, it's a 17mm socket, so I will pick the camera back up once I get the vehicle jacked up. And if you're gonna jack it up, it wouldn't hurt to put a wheel chock behind it, because safety never hurts. Also, a pair of safety glasses can go a long way when you're doing stuff like this, especially if it's dirty under there and you don't like getting stuff in your eyes. So alright, there should be enough room to get to here and here, hopefully. But you're also going to need something to catch the oil in. And make sure you get something that's going to be able to hold the amount of oil in your vehicle, otherwise you'll end up overflowing it and having a big mess. And that's no fun. But throw that underneath the oil filter and the drain bolt. And we'll grab our $17mm socket there. Alright, I just had a second thought before I do anything. I've got jack stands in my truck, so I'm gonna go and grab a jack stand and throw it under there so I can just not have to worry about anything that way. So, okay, now that those are there, I feel a little bit better. Okay. Let all that drain out, and then I'm gonna take the filter out. I don't know why I always have gloves when I do this, and I never put them on. You're also going to want to take a rag and clean off the drain bolt really good. Make sure nothing is no dirt or rocks or anything getting those threads, because you want that to be nice. You want that to go back in and seal correctly. So pick the camera back up when I pull the oil filter out. All right, it's been draining for a minute. Went ahead and threw a pair of gloves on. We'll see if we can get that oil filter spun off by hand. If not, I got one of these oil filter wrenches, or I'm just channel on the same. In a perfect world, those should only be hand tight, but never seems to be the case for me. Alright, got that out. Now I'm just gonna let that completely drain, and then we'll come back with a rag and clean everything up nice. Reinstall the drain bolt and reinstall the new filter, and then put new oil in it. Quite a good minute now, so go ahead and get everything cleaned up and put the new filter in. I just wanted to mention that you should make sure, I don't know if you can see this, right here on your, this is where your oil, this is the oil filter housing where your oil filter screws on. Where this lip is, where the actual filter presses against the housing, make sure that the gasket, the old gasket from the old filter, came off with it, so that you don't end up putting the new one on and making it so that it won't seal correctly, because that would be no good. So you want the spot where it's where the new filter is going to be mating with that housing to be as clean as possible before we put the new one on, as well as where the drain bolt's going to go. Reinstall your drain bolt. Make sure it's not cross-threaded. Just get it on there hand tight for now. I'm gonna come back and torque it after I get the new filter put on there. Alright. Now we're gonna crawl ourselves out of here. And I like to, before I put the new filter in, this is kind of a, some people do it, some people don't. I like to take some oil and pre-fill the oil filter before I put it on there. Just, I like the idea of there being oil in the filter before starting the engine, because I just feel like it prevents any, I don't know, I think it's better than having a dry filter. There's probably some science to it, but yeah. Alright, know that this engine takes 4.4 quarts, so I'm gonna take a little bit more than half a quart out of my 5 quarts here, and then just put the rest of it in and go. If it needs more or less, then we'll go with do that after. But this here is a half a quart to that top line, or not quite the top line, so actually I'll fill it just up to that top line. So alright, so now that's taken out, and all of this remaining will go into the engine, and well, I'll put a little in the filter as well, like I said. So yeah, so I don't know if you can see this one here, but it says basically clean. This one actually tells you to pre-fill it. I don't know if that shows up at all, but and then once you're snug, go 3/4 to 1/4 turn after. So pull that off. That's that gasket that I was talking about. So and get some oil in there, and then you can take your finger and just put a tiny little bit of oil around that gasket. Just so it's a nice seal. Get some clean hands. And then we'll go back under the car, snug it up, and then tighten that drain bolt to 29 foot-pounds if you've got one. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can get one of these like manual old school style torque wrenches for pretty cheap, like 20 bucks or less, I believe. And that would probably be plenty enough for this situation as far as accuracy goes. I do have a click style torque wrench, so I'm just going to use that. But if you were really in a pinch and you didn't have a torque wrench, just make sure it's tight but not too tight, and check it. Make sure you double check that no leaks are happening, and keep in mind that you didn't torque it. So alright, I'll throw this thing back on the tripod and get under there and put the new filter in, and then we'll add the oil and wrap this up. Alright, go ahead and take our new filter. Make sure when you do this you don't cross thread it. So there, we're snug. It's now 3/4 to 1 turn, so once this gets back to here or here, we know we're good. There's a half a turn. There's 3/4. Just gonna go a little past that. Alright, there's a little bit more than 3/4, so. And then after that, we're gonna take our torque wrench here, our 17mm socket, and go ahead and tighten that down until you hear the click. And there's our click. Now it's gonna come back with one more shop towel, clean everything up for one final time, and then lower the car down and add the oil. I'm going to use a funnel because I brought one. Clean the cap up a little bit. And then, excuse me, you can take a oil on my GoPro, and I just had it in my mouth. Yuck. Yuck. Take the dipstick out. Wipe it clean. You don't want it to be in between these two dots. And it looks that's like exactly where we are, right here. So now we can go ahead and start the car, reset the oil life light, run it for a little bit, make sure it's warm, and then you can check, just to be double safe, you can check the dipstick again and make sure it hasn't went down at all, that you're not leaking anything, and it doesn't hurt to check under the vehicle for any leaks as well. So, all right. I know it's boiling. To reset this oil indicator light, it says to turn the ignition to the on position, number 2 position. So 1, 2, 2, and then press the reset knob until you get to the oil life. There's the oil life. This is the little knob they're talking about. And then it says hold for 10 seconds. 6, 7. Oh, there we go. So oil life 100% reset. So that was a little bit confusing, but I do have this thing here printed out, luckily, so I will put a picture of that in case that helps someone, because that was kind of tricky. So, but all right, now I should be able to start it, drive it for a bit, and it should be good from there. So if this helped you out, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you got anything to say, or otherwise, thank you for watching. Here's that filter I used, in case anyone wants to use the same one. And here's the oil. $41.52 for the filter and oil. And other than taking a video, probably take you about 30 minutes. So save yourself some money and do it yourself.